Welcome to Divine Earth School, the place where high achievers and spiritual seekers come to explore, express, and embody their divinity, where I talk all things health, life, business, and spirituality. So let's dive in. Hello, 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 Mosaic Souls. Hey, Mosaic Souls, this is Rachael Alexander, artist and Mosaic Soul mentor, aka spiritual life and wellness coach with flair. And today I wanted to talk about the secret to loving yourself. So you're probably familiar with, self-help books and talk show hosts who really tell you to love yourself, right? But you might be wondering how to actually go about that. If you're joining me live, feel free to say hi in the chat. Welcome, welcome, welcome to this Soul Nugget Sunday. Haven't done one of these in a while, so it's really nice to be back on here. But let's talk about the self-love, loving yourself, right? So while your relationship, with yourself is the most important connection in your life, it's easy to really forget about nurturing it, right? So self-love and compassion are really too important to neglect because they shape your experiences and your relationships with yourself and with others. So it's all about, protecting your health and your mental health and your physical health and well-being by making positive changes in the way that you think about and treat yourself, right? So let's talk about some strategies really to help you to really think more highly of yourself first. And the first step into really loving yourself is changing the way you think about yourself. So that's really the first foundational step, right? So maybe you're hard on yourself, or you're so busy with external obligations that you really rarely care or consider your personal priorities. So what changing the way you think about yourself really starts to help you to do is start looking inward and start to value yourself more, right? So, let me interrupt this broadcast by saying if you are interested in learning more about this topic, I have a free masterclass coming up this Friday evening at 8 p.m. Click the first link in the description box to join the free masterclass. So if that is something you're interested in learning more about, click that first link in the description box. But let's dive into some strategies on helping you to really change the way you think about yourself. If you see me looking to the right, I'm looking at my screen because I wrote these things down. So anywho, the first strategy to really help you think more highly of yourself, if you're joining me live, feel free to say hi, is really to start accepting yourself, right? So really know that you're worthy of love and respect just the way you are in this moment, and really starting to embrace your strengths and your weaknesses, right? None of us are perfect, right? We all have quirks and flaws, but we also have strengths and unique gifts and talents and skills and ways of viewing the world that other people don't, which makes us each unique, divine, individuated experiences, right? Hello, Howard. What's up? Peace, peace, peace. Blessings to see you too. It's great. Awesome to be back on here. So really that's the first step, is really you want to start accepting yourself, your strengths and your weaknesses. Recognize that you're perfectly imperfect, perfectly imperfect. The second piece is clarifying your purpose, right? So you want to really invent your own definition of success. And after this video, I'll link some helpful videos that I've done on this channel already about that, helping you to define your definition of success. But ask yourself what a meaningful life means to you. Even if the answer changes over time, we're evolving beings. We didn't come to be stagnant and stuck in one way of being. We came to evolve and have different experiences, right? So clarifying your purpose in every area of your life, right? From one season to the next, it might change, and that's okay. And to be fine with that, right? And to allow yourself to grow and to change and expand, right? Right, exactly. I'm glad it resonates, right? So that's the second piece of really starting to change the way you think about yourself. The third piece is to talk yourself up, right? So how do you speak to yourself? Are you demeaning? Are you really, have self-loathing? Are you really beating yourself up in your mind? Or do you choose words that are encouraging and uplifting, right? You want to start to use your internal dialogue to build up your self-confidence and manage your emotions, right? If you're your own worst enemy, how is it the world is going to just reflect that back to you, right? We live in a mirror universe. We live in a reality where what you experience internally and externally is a reflection of your internal world. So you really want to start to switch up your internal dialogue that you have with yourself, right? Having more loving and kind and positive encouraging words for yourself, like, okay, maybe I didn't get this done, but I got these other things done. And so I'm really excited and grateful for myself, right? The fourth piece of this is offer forgiveness, right? For yourself and others. So let go of the past so you can like move on, right? And take any decisions that you regret and turn them into opportunities to learn from, right? We all have things that we wish we could have done better, but instead of beating up on yourself, you can say, okay, I didn't do this the way that I thought I was going to do, but I can learn from that and move forward in a different light now that I know what I know, right? Make amends where possible, right? When it comes to other people, and resolve to handle things more constructively in the future, right? So offering forgiveness for yourself and for others is really going to help you to really start to change that inner dialogue and the way that you see and view yourself. And the fifth piece is avoid comparisons, right? So Facebook really didn't invent social comparisons, but social media has increased the potential for envy and inferiority complexes, right? We're always comparing ourselves to this person or that person who seems to have it all, right? So try competing with your last performance, or just not even competing at all, right? Instead of trying to live up to someone else's standards or someone else's expectations, look at yourself and start to accomplish. You'll accomplish more if you dare to be more of who you are versus trying to live somebody else's life, right? Stop trying to live other people's lives and live your own best life, right? You're your own unique, divine, individuated expression, right? So you be your own unique being that you're here to be, right? You're the God and goddess of your own life. So operate in that knowing, right? And start to stop comparing yourself to others. You're here for your own journey. Everybody has their own divine timing, right? Let go of comparisons. And then the sixth piece is to think positively, right? So looking on the bright side and being able to laugh at yourself makes you even more lovable, right? When you make mistakes or you think, a negative thought or all this other stuff. Comparison is the if of joy, right? What do you mean the if of joy, Bible? The if? Maybe you typed that wrong. I don't know what you mean. But yeah. So, what was I saying? Think positive, right? How did I know that? Yeah, right. So learning to like laugh at yourself, right? And retype that, Howard. I didn't really know what you were talking about. The thief. Okay, right. You're right. Exactly. Comparison is the thief of joy, right? When you compare yourself to others. I was just having a really great conversation with one of my uncles. He's like 83 years old. And he was like, one of the things, if you're going to compare yourself, one of the ways you can use comparison to your benefit is to, when you're feeling down and bad about yourself, you can look at other people who might be less fortunate and maybe you'll have more gratitude for what you have. That's one way to look at comparison versus comparing your journey to others. I say don't compare yourself at all, but if you're going to use comparison, at least use it to your benefit, right? Versus make you feel worse about yourself, right? And then the sixth piece was think positive, right? Learning to laugh at yourself helps you to be more lovable to others, but also love yourself more, because you'll be like, oh, look at me. I made that mistake again, or look at my thoughts. My thoughts are going, left again versus the way I know that I am, right? I know who I really am, right? So it also helps you manage stress and deal with difficult circumstances when you start to think more positively versus always painting your life situations in a negative, right? I really want to do a documentary on my uncle because he be dropping bombs. Anyways, side note. But learning to manage, thinking positive helps you to manage stress and deal with difficult circumstances, right? So when you think more positively, instead of painting your life in this whole like negative, dark, gloomy world, right? You start to think and see the world with, bright colored glasses more so often versus this sort of dark, gloomy, hazy feeling that you might have, right? Like the world is against me. I'm a victim. Everything is going wrong. Instead of looking at it in that light, you can be like, start to focus in on what you can be grateful for. Because if you can start practicing gratitude more often, you'll feel more confident. You'll feel more excited and more enlivened in your life, and you'll love yourself more, right? That's the crux of it, right? You'll start to appreciate your life and yourself more, right? And so let's talk about, so the first step, we talked about changing the way you think about yourself. And I just listed 6 pieces of those. And the first one, I'll just do a recap, is to accept yourself. Second piece was to clarify your purpose. The third piece was to talk yourself up. The fourth piece was to offer forgiveness. The fifth piece was to avoid comparisons, right? And the sixth piece was to think positively. Now I want to talk about changing the way you treat yourself, right? We're talking about thinking, now we're talking about behaving, right? So do your actions match your beliefs, right? So you might say that you love yourself, but your actions could really be sending a different message, right? So try these techniques to treat yourself more kindlier, right? Piece one of changing the way you treat yourself is to practice self-care, right? Develop habits that keep your mind and body fit and strong. Maybe go to bed early each day, or make sure you're drinking enough water every day, eat a balanced diet, and watch your weight, or make sure you're getting enough sleep, right? Making sure you take care of yourself is so crucial to how you treat yourself, because if you don't value you and your body, then who else is going to do? Right? So, and then the second piece is pick your friends wisely. So surround yourself with family and friends who encourage and support you, right? And limit your contact with those people who diminish and deplete you, right? Cultivate close relationships with others who share your goals, and engage in deep conversations where you can share your feelings and receive validation. Make sure you're only cultivating relationships where you can share these things in a safe space and not feel judged, right? And the third piece is to pursue your passions, right? Identify the activities that bring you joy and fulfillment. Block out time each day for something you love, and whether it's a task related to your job or something you do on your leisure time, right? Interrupting this broadcast again, if you're just joining me live, feel free to learn more about this topic by signing up for my free masterclass happening this Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay, so diving back into changing the way you treat yourself. So we talked about pursuing your passions, right? And doing things that bring you joy. How often are you doing things that bring you joy, right? If you're in a career that you don't love, trying to ease your way back over to doing more of the things that you love. So maybe you can eventually make a career change, or if you want to stay in your current career, adding more activities and hobbies to your life that bring you more joy and fulfillment, right? And an activity and a hobby doesn't have to take hours on end. It could just take 20 minutes or 30 minutes, but just making sure you're making time for passion, joy, and excitement in your life, right? The fourth piece to changing the way you treat yourself, because we started out with changing the way you think about yourself. Now we're talking about the way you treat or behave, right? Is to set goals, right? So giving yourself something to strive for is so crucial. Like, even if it's just a small thing, we all have desires and dreams. And if you don't have something that you're striving for, I feel like sometimes we can kind of get stuck in a rut and just start coasting, but not in a good way, like coasting, like in a complacent, detached way from life, where you sort of become nihilistic, like there's no purpose to life, so why should I even try? Like, try not to go down that road, because it can be very scary and hard to come back from, right? So setting goals helps you to really work towards something that brings you joy and moves you, make you feel like your life has purpose and meaning, right? So working towards realistic and challenging goals builds your confidence, and as you add to your achievements, and it allows you to really have that sense of self-purpose, self-love, and self-care, and just a strong sense of self, right? When you're achieving things that you set out to, right? The fifth piece of that is to maintain boundaries. This is so huge, and something I really love working with my clients on, because this is something that a lot of empaths and a lot of people pleasers and loving, compassionate people struggle with, is not having really clear set boundaries. But know your limits so you can define what behavior you consider acceptable, right? So this may include physical boundaries, such as needing your own space, and psychological boundaries, such as being entitled to your own feelings, right? If you're in a toxic relationship where you're not allowed to feel the way you feel, then maybe you need to readjust thinking about being in that relationship, or set healthier boundaries where you can feel safe enough to feel what you feel without being attacked about your feelings, right? We're emotional beings, we're vibrational beings, so we came here to experience emotions, right? So that should be safe, and you should feel safe to be able to explore those, right? The sixth piece of it is advocate for yourself, right? So once you understand your needs and your desires, you can communicate them to others, right? If you see me looking to my right, I'm looking at my sheet that I wrote down all this stuff that I wanted to share with you today on today's live. I wanted today's live to be juicy, have some great takeaways for you guys. Let me know if you're resonating with this in the chat. So we talked about advocating for yourself, right? So when you know your needs and your desires, you can communicate them more effectively to yourself and to others. And you'll also grow a more skillful as you practice being direct and tactful and letting someone know if they crossed a boundary, right? So if you don't know what your needs are, if you don't know what your desires are, how can you communicate them to others, right? How can you set a boundary if you're not in touch with yourself, right? So advocating for yourself is super important. So you can set those boundaries and maintain those boundaries. And then the last piece of this is to seek support, right? Whether that's working with a coach or just seek support in your own family or, social unit, right? Ask for what you need and let others know specifically what they can do to help you, right? Whether you're looking for practical assistance, like pitching in with housework or just a friendly ear to listen to you while you sort out your feelings, right? Or actually working with a professional, if that's a therapist or a coach or something, to help you reach your goals or achieve certain things in your life. Whatever that is, seek support, right? We didn't come to live on the planet in isolation, technically. Most of us didn't. Maybe a few souls, but I would say majority of us need some level of community or support, right? Whether that's a friend, a professional or whatever, family member, but ask for help. You don't have to do this journey alone, right? So those are the pieces to changing the way you treat yourself. And I want to recap these 7 pieces is to practice self-care. Number 1, pick your friends wisely. Number 3 is pursue your passions. Number 4 is set goals. Number 5 is maintain boundaries. Number 6 is advocate for yourself. And number 7 is to seek support, right? So we talked about, the secrets to really loving yourself is 1, changing the way you think about yourself, and 2, changing the way you treat yourself. And I gave you a number of strategies under each of those tips to help you really start to love yourself. Because when you love yourself, you can really start to enjoy more happiness and overcome challenges as they arise, and also build a healthier relationship with yourself and with others, right? So I want to encourage you to make it a habit to really treat yourself with kindness and respect that you deserve, because you deserve to be happy. You deserve to have love and joy. You deserve to express yourself fully. You deserve to live a life that really is a reflection of what your soul came here to have and experience, right? So if this is resonating, definitely give this video a thumbs up and let me know if it resonated with you in the chat. And I'd love to hear from you. Which of these strategies do you think that you will employ in your life for this upcoming week and for this month? Because self-love is a never-ending journey. We're always expanding and growing, so there's always more of ourselves that we get to love. So let me know in the chat or in the comments below which strategy out of this video really resonated and that you're going to employ in your own life. And if you are looking for more help and uncovering more self-confidence and self-love, then join me in my free masterclass happening this Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, April 15th at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where you're going to learn some other strategies and just overall things to help you really start to embody self-confidence and self-love and get out of the people-pleasing trap, right? And get out of the trap of not pursuing your passions, or get out of the trap of feeling like you're stuck or stagnant, right? If that's something you're looking forward to, then click the first link in the description box below this video. And I want to thank you guys for joining me. And for those of you who are watching the replay, definitely thank you for watching this video. And as always, whatever you conceive is what you'll receive. Whatever you expect is what you'll get. And however you feel is what will become real for you. So vibrate higher. And as always, flow with what feels good and let go of what doesn't, because you are divine. You are a divine being, and your soul knows exactly what you've come to explore and experience. So vibrate higher, and I will chat with you guys next time. Peace, love, and light.